Welcome everyone to the final Tap Talk of 2025. Yay! Today is, as I said, our last final Tap Talk of the year, and of the topic, get to know your neighbors. And again, I'd like to welcome you. I'm Dr. Susan Slavsky. I'm an ecologist and the program coordinator for 500 Women Scientists, the Corvallis pod. So, really special guest today. We have Rhea Lewis, and who is a Corvallis City Council member and also a daycare provider. And today she has this really awesome presentation called Blending Worlds Storytime. And so we get to hear a whole bunch of cool stories and learn a little bit more about Rhea. So without further ado, yay! Here's Rhea.
Thank you so much. I am super excited to be here right now. When they asked me, and I was like, as long as I get to do a story time, I'm so down. The one thing I like about story times is because it's just a different perspective on everything. Everyone has a different way of telling stories. Everyone has their own point of view and how things are and how they see the world. And I just think having a story time is a great way to actually bring people together and join the community. And I've been doing story times literally my first time ever for this year, and it has been such a huge impact, and I just keep going with it. The main reason why I was blending worlds is because there's a lot of, as I've learned being my third year on the city council, there's a lot of similarities than differences between being a daycare provider and being a city councilor. So I'm going to read some stories and some examples and then explain why I chose them and what that means. So this first one is called I Am Human. As you can see, I have another one with I Am Courage. It's an I Am series. There's a lot of books. I highly recommend going to our local Corvallis library. That's where I got all of these books from. Not sponsored. And so these books are really amazing if you want to really bond with your children and put those really good values in them. So this is I Am Human by Susan Verde. I was born a miracle, one of billions but unique. I am human. I am always learning. I'm finding my way and choosing my path on the incredible journey. I have big dreams. I see possibility. I have endless curiosity. I make discoveries. I have a feeling of wonder. I am amazed by nature. I have a playful side. I find joy in friendships. I am human. But being human means I am not perfect. I make mistakes. I can hurt others with my words, my actions, and even my silence. I can be hurt too. I can be fearful of things I don't yet understand, and timid to try something new. I have a heavy heart when I feel sadness. I am human. But then I remind myself that because I am human, I can make choices. I can move forward. A poor choice can become a better choice with thoughtfulness. A bad day can become a great day with kindness. I can act with compassion and lend a helping hand. I can treat others with equality and be fair. I can choose not to fight, but instead to listen and find common ground. I can say, I'm sorry, and ask for forgiveness. I am human, one of billions, but unique. I am not alone. I am connected to my friends, to my family, to the world. We are all human together. And I will keep trying to be the best version of me. I am full of hope. I am human. And an author's note. The end. So I really like this one because it shows that, because we are human, we do make mistakes. And we have to understand that it is not always intentional. It is not always on purpose. We are not all born mean. If you are hurt by somebody, it's best to try and talk it out if you can. I'm not going to say it's always going to be the right path. Sometimes you do have to just let it go. But I think this one is one of my favorites because it is just, I am human. And that's how we all are. So as a city councilor, we make a lot of difficult choices. And people will get mad about it. People get mad at us all the time. We get emails constantly. And I have to regulate myself and not take it to heart. Because at the end of the day, I don't know what's going on with that person who's emailing. I don't know what their life situation is about. And I can't just assume what's going on in their brains when that happens. So, and same with me, this is like they're at frustration because we made a decision. For example, when we have to raise fees, no one likes doing it. We talk about it all the time, fellow city councilors included. We all hate it because we all have to pay those same fees. But we have to understand that it's like how it impacts us is different how it impacts the rest of the community. And then so that actually segues into being a daycare provider. Kids will throw tantrums. If you are a parent, you understand. Your kid will throw a tantrum. Wrong socks, wrong color pants, not the right ratio of cookies to chocolate chips. You're gonna have a meltdown. I'm so sorry for you if that's actually happening to you right now. But there is going to be a meltdown. And the important part is we cannot take it to heart. It's going to feel like a personal attack. It's going to I have preschoolers who will tell me they hate me and to go away. I have to understand that it's not the fact that they hate me, it's the fact they're going through a process and they don't understand how to regulate their emotions. And as adults, we also don't know how to regulate our emotions. We say we do, we don't. We don't. So this is one book that has grounds me. It's talk it out. Try your best, and you will make mistakes. You will get hurt in the process. Someone else will get hurt in the process, and that is just part of the way of life. So that's one of the similarities, and it's having an open mind and an open heart. Not for everybody. Some people, they don't deserve that. That's okay. But I think this is a really good book about empathy and understanding, not only for yourself, not only for your children, but just in general. So that's one of the reasons why I like this one. So next is Annie's Jar of Patience by Sophia Day. Now this is self-explanatory why I chose this book, because patience is a virtue that you lose each year. And if you have kids or work with children, you lose it faster than you think. You think. I have been told countless times that I have the patience of a saint. Just because I say I'm a daycare teacher, I don't have the patience of a saint. Just going back to my empathy, sometimes I will literally just not have the patience for it and I have to walk away. Is that possible with 10 children? No. Do I manage? No. But this is where Annie's Jar of Patience comes in. It shows Annie's impatience, how she figures out how to learn patience, and sometimes she gets it wrong, but at the end of the day, she gets there. So this is Annie's Jar of Patience. There we go. How many more days? Annie asked her dad. You asked me yesterday, and I said 3 days, so you tell me. 2 more days, Annie whined. Annie was looking forward to spending time with her grandparents on Saturday. Her grandma said they might make kimchi from their garden. Unfortunately, impatience took over her excitement. Her mind raced ahead to what she wanted to do. Her heart beat faster, as if it could make time to go more quickly. Even her body could hardly contain the anticipation. At school, she fidgeted in her seat. At home, she daydreamed, missing out on things she could have been enjoying. So they were going outside to go out to play, and she's just like, I want to go to Grandma's house. Finally, Saturday morning came, and Grandma Park picked her up. The car ride into town was agonizing. Are we there yet, Grandpa? We've been in the car forever. Oh, you guys had that conversation with your children? It's been 20 minutes, just 10 more. Annie always seemed too bored with the present or too excited about the future to enjoy what was happening now. 10 more minutes seemed like an hour. When they finally arrived, Annie ran into the front door, through the living room, and straight out the kitchen door into the garden. I'm here, let's make kimchi! Annie looked around at the empty kitchen. Oh, Moni. Hi, Annie, you ran right past me. Oops, sorry, Halmoni, I'm just so excited. Me too, Halmoni smiled. We're going to have a great day, but let's agree not to hurry past the good stuff. Deal? Deal. So, can you make your kimchi today? Annie asked. Halmoni looked around the garden. It's still too early for the cabbages and peppers, she said. When will they be ready? About 2 more weeks, I guess. But I wanted to make kimchi today, Annie complained. Grandpa Park came out to help find a solution. Annie, you're a real go-getter. I appreciate your enthusiasm about making kimchi. I'm sorry the vegetables aren't ready. Let's find something else fun to do. So if you have children or live with children, this is called redirection. I do this a lot at daycare, where it's like a child would want something, like for example, especially snack time or any meal time, they'll be like, I'm hungry, they'll start getting irritated and frustrated, and so I would have to pivot to something else, and it's like, oh, I know you're hungry, but I'm hungry too, and then I'll make it a game of like, I'm going to get you, I'm going to eat you, and then they start running and they completely forget their hunger, and that lasts all about 20 minutes, depending on how many children I'm running after. And depending on how much stamina I have. So, but this is what they're doing, the redirection. But I don't want to do anything else. Sometimes I get that too. I hear that you're feeling impatient. Did you know that you can be in charge of your feelings? Just because you feel impatient doesn't mean you have to act impatiently. What do you mean? Annie asked. Whining doesn't solve anything. But when you feel that hurried, unhappy feeling, you can think about your choices. You already said you don't want to choose to do something else. So another option is to look for a way to get what you want more quickly, a compromise. Like a shortcut? Aren't shortcuts bad? Rushing through something and doing it carelessly will have poor results, but finding a good solution that's faster isn't wrong. So how do we make the garden grow more quickly? Asked Annie. Grandpa Park laughed. We can't rush the natural seasons. Take a deep breath and try to think creatively. If you must make kimchi today, is there another way to get what you need? Annie had an idea, but she would have to decide if she was okay with trading Harmoni's homegrown vegetables for vegetables from the store. I wanted to use your garden veggies, but I really want you to teach me to make kimchi today, Annie told Harmoni. Can we go to the store? Okay, Harmoni agreed. We'll harvest what we can and go buy the rest. It will cost more, but we can do it today. That's a good compromise. Harmoni called out their list while Annie darted from bin to bin, picking up the ingredients. Onion, garlic, ginger, cabbage. Annie's mouth was watering just thinking about the flavors. Chilies were the last thing on their list. Annie dashed off toward the pepper section. She ran straight into another shopper, sending her cart of eggs crashing to the floor. Oh no. Oh no, I'm sorry, she exclaimed. Annie grabbed another carton from the cooler and handed it to the man. She grabbed the chili peppers and said, let's go! Not so fast, Harmoni said. We're going to stay until the eggs are cleaned up. Annie's heart beat faster and her mind raced. She noticed her feelings and remembered that just because she was feeling impatient didn't mean she had acted impatient. She thought about her choices. Grandpa was right. The carelessness was poor results. Rushing to get the peppers actually made everything take longer. Annie wished they didn't have to wait for the worker with the mop. She picked up the eggshells to help the cleanup go more quickly. Back at the house, they took their time to carefully chop the cabbage, shred the carrots, and slice the radishes. Annie didn't want to rush once to get hurt. They pressed the garlic, grated the ginger, and crushed the chili peppers. They mixed it all together with the sauces and seasoning. Annie saved one last spoonful for herself. Blah! Annie spit it out. What did I do wrong? This tastes awful. Momani laughed. Oh, Annie, kimchi, like patience, takes time to develop. The flavors form over time. I thought we would get to eat it tonight, Annie said, disappointed. Not tonight. It will take about a week. Annie almost whined, but she stopped. Acting impatiently wouldn't make a week go by more quickly. We can taste it together when I'm at Grandpa Park. No shortcuts this time, but you'll see it's worth the wait. Take this while you write down everything that makes you happy. The best way to develop patience is to find joy in the process. Annie took home her jar of kimchi and Grandpa Park's notebook. After a couple of days, Annie could smell the kimchi, making her mouth water. She lapped up the bubbles that danced when she tapped the jar. Anytime she was tempted to open it too early, she remembered that just because she was feeling impatient didn't mean she had to act impatiently. She recorded things she was thankful for and things she looked forward to enjoy. When Almani and Grandpa Park came the next weekend, they tested to see if Annie had been patient. How's the kimchi? Almani asked. I don't know. Let's find out, said Annie. As Annie opened the jar, she realized that she was now part of a 1,000-year-old family tradition, passed down from her money and many generations before her. Suddenly, a week didn't seem so long. The first crisp, tangy bite of her very own kimchi was worth the wait. So you're a real go-getter, always in a hurry to make the seasons change. You just can't stand it when the circumstances don't go how you'd arrange. Is what you're wanting worth the wait, or should you choose a different goal? Is there a quicker compromise, a shortcut, or a loophole? When your goal just isn't fast enough, you can choose to sacrifice some quality for speed, if the trade-off will suffice. Time won't always go by quickly just because you're in a hurry. You're likely to make more mistakes while acting in a flurry. So keep your eyes set on your goal or find a good distraction. Patience comes through process, finding joy and satisfaction. And this is just learn and discuss with your children or yourself, because I do need this page. I read it before I came today, and it's definitely very helpful. And there's just more information, and I really like the people and the end. So that was a lot longer, but as you can see, again, she tried her best, she was doing her best, she made some mistakes, and then after a while, she processed it. So this book especially is what I do at my day job. I am constantly redirecting, I'm constantly going, what can we do instead? A lot of the times the kids will find joy in the process and then get annoyed that we have to stop the process. And then when it's time to transition, they don't want to. So we have to find a way for transitions to be fun. So for example, when we do free time, after we do circle time, and then we have a little transition from circle time to free play. But when it's time to go from free play to getting ready for snack time, we have a cleanup song that we play. It's by the Singing Walrus, and they really enjoy that song. But when they hear that song, a lot of our preschool class will start cleaning up. They're like, oh, that's our cleanup song, we gotta go, it's transition time. And then for toddlers, which I'm actually the toddler teacher at my daycare, I actually sing the cleanup song. So when I sing the cleanup song, they know it's like, oh, we're cleaning up, it's time to go. Because I used to, for a long time, I've been doing daycare for 13 years. For the longest time, I used to actually just say, oh, it's time to clean up. It wasn't until very recently I started singing a cleanup song. and doing it with them, and they're like, and that's when the process got into their heads, like, oh, it's time for us to clean up. So that is actually something that I had to learn myself, of how to do those distractions, how to do those transitions. And then the patience, I am a very patient person. When I say we have to go outside, we have to go outside. I don't want you to ask me 500 questions. That's great that your grandpa is coming to visit you the next 3 days. Get your shoes on and go outside. That is where my brain is. But I have to step back. Just because I'm impatient doesn't mean I have to act impatiently. So sometimes when a child is telling me about a story or something that's going to happen and that their parents are psyching them up about, like their grandparents visiting, I will get their shoes for them and then put it next to them and sit down next to them. And as they're telling me, I'm just like, oh, really? It's like, oh, can you put on your shoes and tell me more about it outside? And they're like, yeah, I can do that. And then they'll immediately put on their shoes, go outside, and then immediately pick up where they left off. But it got us where we go faster. And also, I myself learned that it's like, and when it comes to city council, I definitely have to do that because I will get a lot of questions. And the number one thing is, before I became a city councilor, the one thing I always asked was, why does everything in government take so long? It's like, why can't we just, why can't they pass this bill and it be effective immediately? Why does it have to go through this process? What is the process? Why does the process take so long? Why can't we streamline it? It's like, because all of that impatience, and I know the community has a lot of that impatience. So when I do get asked the question of why does this process take so long, why are we waiting so long to do something, I now, as a city councilor, understand that there's a lot behind the scenes that we are not a part of. It's a lot of our staff time, it's a lot of our staff doing it. So it's like a lot of projects will go through planning commission. So for the planning commission, very, very brief timeline. It goes through they apply through the planning commission. It goes back to the planning commission. It goes back to the applicant. Applicant gives us more information. Goes back through the planning commission. Then comes back to us. We say that's great. Goes back to the planning. Goes back to the planning commission for them to say, oh, this is great for the applicant, and then the process can get started. That is a lot. But that is only for one project. Now imagine doing that for 5 at the same time. It's gonna take a minute to go through all of that. So I learned both the easy way and the hard way. That just because I want something to I want to be like, yes, let's do this, let's go, let's do it. It's not just me making these decisions either. So I'm one of 9. 10 if the mayor gets a vote on the rare occasion, but I am one of many who make these decisions. So it's not always just me who has to go through this process. I have 9 people with 9 different opinions, and sometimes we just want to be like, yes, let's move on. That's not always the case, because a lot of my other fellow counselors will actually bring up a good point, and I'm like, ooh, I didn't think about it that angle. Let me reevaluate what I'm thinking, and then vote accordingly. So that's why a lot of things, it's very hard to have patience, especially in this day and age. It's very hard to have patience. That's why I do love working with children, because it definitely tests that patience for me, and I learn how to adapt with that patience. I don't always get it right. Going back to I Am Human, I love this book so much. I do not always get it right. People do get hurt in the process. Sometimes I get my feelings hurt in the process. But if we rush it, everything turns out way worse than it was. So that's why I really like this one. And so this last one is, what does it mean to be present? Now, I have ADHD. I am very upfront about that. I am very, very public with my mental health issues. I have ADHD and I have depression. So a lot of the times I will not be in the present. I will worry about the future that hasn't happened yet. I will regret the past that I cannot change. So living in the present for me is especially hard. So that's why I really like this book, because it gives me a new look on what does that mean for me. And what does that mean to be as a parent? What does that mean for you? It's like, does it mean constantly being there for your children 24/7? Does it mean not having time for yourself? What does it mean for a teacher? Does it mean like constantly, it's like stopping class every 5 seconds because someone's being disrupted? Or does it mean pretending you don't hear it and going through it? So are any of those examples in this book? No, but I think it's a very, this question in itself is something that I think everyone needs to ask themselves. So what does it mean to be present? Let's find out together.
Yeah, organic grapes, the red blend, it talks about.
What does it mean to be present? Does it mean showing up in class? No. Does it mean sharing something at show and tell? No. Does it mean wrapping yourself up? No. Being present means listening carefully when other people are speaking. Noticing when someone needs help and taking the time to give them the help they need. Focusing on what's happening now instead of thinking about what's next. Appreciating what you have even if what someone else has seems better. Waiting patiently for your turn. Treating each new experience as an opportunity and understanding that making mistakes is how we learn and grow. Being grateful for your family and friends and telling them so. Savoring each bite of your delicious food. Cuddling with your puppy and enjoying how soft and wiggly he feels. Relishing the warmth of the sun and the sound of the rain. Feeling the sand between your toes, watching the rolling waves, smelling the briny seaweed, listening to the cawing seagulls and tasting the ocean's salty spring. Allowing the rhythm of your breath in and out to make you feel peaceful. Closing your eyes and being still enough to hear your inner voice. Being present means living in the moment. It means realizing that yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. So tell your friends what it means to be present and spread the word. When we're all present, life can be much richer, fuller, and happier. So it says, our mission, Little Pickle Press, is dedicated to helping parents and educators cultivate conscious, responsible little people by stimulating explorations of the meaningful topics of their generation through a variety of media, technologies, and techniques. And that is also why I love story times. So this one was actually much shorter than the other three, but it also touched back on the patience and the empathy that we talked about with the other two books. So that's why I also really like this book. But going back to, so it's being there and really listening to what is going on. I will have toddlers in preschool all trying to talk to me at one time, and it was overstimulating, and I'm just I just need you guys to sit down and eat lunch. But I was just what is lunchtime going to look like? What time are we supposed to head in for lunch from recess? So it's it's very hard for me to be in the present with both city council and daycare. Because with city council, we always have to think ahead in the future. We always have to think of where is this project going to go? Where is this money going to come from? What are we going to do next? How are we going to improve Corvallis for future generations? So it's very hard to be in the present when you're in local government, and it's very hard to be in the present when you're a daycare provider because you're always scheduled. You're not always on the schedule. But you have to say, play is this time, there's rest time. Now that after lunchtime, after rest time, it's it's snack time. After snack time, we go back outside. Oh, now it's pickup time. So it's there's so many transitions throughout the day. And you always have to make sure you have fun with them. You make up games. I have a whole playlist of bear hunt and bear and friends, basically. And I do all of them. There's shark hunt. Fun fact, the Kaboomers have shark hunts. They have dragon hunt. And I think another one that I'm forgetting. But there's multiple, and we do all of them. Sometimes we go on walks and we do them. So it's just being in the moment we teach the kids to be like, oh, it's like your friend is hurt. We need to stop what we're doing so I can go take care of them. And all of them will go, hey, are you okay? Hey, are you okay? Which is overstimulating, but that's the thought that counts. But they're all in the moment because they're all in that moment to help their friend feel better. And then for city council, I have to really be in the moment when we're talking about the future. A lot of times when we get so caught up in the anxiety of, it's like, oh, this is what the next meeting is going to be about. It's going to be about our financial situation. What is that going to look like? We're from a biennial budget, so it's like, what is the next 2 years going to look like? What is that going to look like for a new council? What is are we going to get new people in new council? What is that going to look like? What is that dynamic going to like? Is there going to be a dynamic shift? So these are the things that I think about on the daily. And so having to step back and be like, what is going on right now? What is our current situation? And what is the problem we're trying to solve today? What is the topic we're talking about right now? And I will say a lot of my fellow counselors, including and myself, will sometimes veer off topic. We'll literally talking about the topic that we're talking about today, and then kind of veer off into a future of what it looks like. And we have to be reined back in on what we're actually talking about. So being in the present is kind of like a double-edged sword for me. And I know that for a lot of our parents, it's also that way. As well. The present is a double-edged sword because for us as adults, we always have a time. We always have a schedule. There's always something that we need to be doing at a certain point of time, and if we don't, our whole day is destroyed. But we have to really, a lot of us have to really learn how to peel back that curtain and be like, oh, I need to be in the here and now. I need to step back. I need to listen to myself, and what do I need right here, right now? And that also goes back to regulating our emotions and, really like I said, we as adults, we say we know how to regulate our emotions. We don't. Like, for example, I used to work at a grocery store. I have seen a lot of people get mad because the line is too long. You can't help it if it's a holiday season. That's not the cashier's fault. But yet we take it out on them because they're the first person we see. And our day has been pouring for crap. So a lot of times I will be in line and I will get apologies from the cashier and just like, take your time, it's fine, because I've been on the other side before. So that's one of the reasons why I'm able to be in the moment at that time in a long line. So I'm like, I can wait. But really learning how to relearning how to regulate our emotions, I think, is very important as we get older, because we tend to, especially in education, we tend to think that once a child hits a certain age, they now know how to regulate their emotions. They don't. That is a constant struggle even into adulthood. I kind of wish we still taught how to regulate emotions after first grade, but that's just me. But I think, just being able to really tap into patience and empathy and just understanding that everyone is a human, everyone will make mistakes. It is not our job to regulate other people, but it's our job to regulate ourselves. And that is something that I have learned from both sides of my world. There's differences, obviously, the age ranges. I don't have a 5-year-old coming to city council meetings telling me that, they want more parking. And I don't have, I hope, daycare differences. But I've learned a lot of similarities, and it's helped me be the person that I am and really understand myself. So those are the three stories I'm going to read for now. I highly suggest going to the local library because this one book is literally just politics for beginners, and there's a lot of information in here that I didn't know about politics, and it goes through a history, and it's like who gets to vote, how voting works, and it's just like if you want to reach, it's the most non-biased book about politics because it's just for kids. it's just, this is how what politics are. And I think it's just a really good book. In general, it has a lot of information, but it gives you a way to pare it down. I really like this one, like that one. Again, the I Am series, I only have 2 here with me, but there's about, I think, 8. There's like 7 to 8 books in the series. And I just think they're really awesome and just a great way to teach children like the skill sets they're going to need, what those are. So it's like, what is resilience? So it's like, what does resilience really look like? So it's like, what does a community look like with the I Am Lead? So I highly recommend that series. This is The Wisdom of Trees, and it's just working together and how trees work together, because fun fact, a lot of trees are all connected at the very root. So when you're trying to remove a tree, that's why it is so difficult and takes forever, because it is not just one tree. You're not just removing a tree, you are removing a part of a vast ecosystem that has been working together for probably longer than any of us have been born. So I really like this one, and it's like very poetic with also information. And that's why I really like it so much, because it's just like, this one says Song of Hunger, and it's just a very short poem, but it's like, this is what actually is happening. So it talks about, like, you know, when a tree dies in the forest naturally, it's like, what happens to it, where does all of that nutrients that it did have go, and it's like just more information about like the ecosystems that each of our forests protects. Save the forests, by the way, they are very important. And so it's just, I think this is a really good book about, and a very interesting, and I don't even have the words, but a very well-written way of showing like what working together and what a community actually looks like and is supposed to be. And it's just through trees. I really like that. And then last but not least, I love Mo Willems. I love him. And I especially love the Elephant and Piggy books, because it just shows like a friendship between just a really like friendship, and how the friends interact with each other, and just their different personalities, and how their different personalities react to each other, and how they find a way to not only show patience with each other, but also show like that empathy and working together and being present and in the moment for each other. So I'm being encouraged to read this one, so I will read this one. So this one is called There Is a Bird on Your Head. And he has many, it is an entire series. I think this is number 22. So there's a lot of them. So there's a bird on your head. So Elephant and Piggy are just chilling, just relaxing. And then here comes the little birdie, and it goes bloop. And of course, Elephant is now, what is this? Piggy! Is something on my head? Yes. There is a bird on your head. There is a bird on my head. Ah! Is there a bird on my head now? No. Now there. What are 2 birds doing on my head? They're in love. The birds on my head are in love. They're lovebirds. Lovebirds. How do you know they're lovebirds? They're making a nest. 2 birds are making a nest on my head? Why would 2 birds make a nest on my head? So you see, the elephant is going through a wide range of emotions. He is going from angry to confused to frustrated, and Piggy's happy through it all. Oh, I am afraid to ask. Do I have an egg on my head? 1, 2, 3. You have 3 eggs on your head. do not want 3 eggs on my head. Then I have good news for Piggy. Piggy has good news for himself. I don't think Elephant is happy about it, but let's see, let's find out. The eggs are gone? The eggs are hatching. Hatching! The eggs on my head are hatching? There they go. They have hatched. And Piggy is very proud. Elephant is not. Now I have 3 baby chicks on my head and 2 birds in a nest. Because Piggy is very helpful in this situation. I do not want 3 baby chicks, 2 birds, and a nest on my head. Where do you want them? Somewhere else. Why not ask them to go somewhere else? Ask them? Ask them. Okay, I will try asking. Excuse me, birds. Will you please go somewhere else? No problem. Oh, the birds can talk. I have never read this one before. So this is news to me that the birds can talk. No problem. It worked. Bye. Now there are no birds on my head. Thank you, Piggy. Thank you very much. You are very welcome. Oh, and this is all of them. So this is all of the books in this series for Elephant and Piggy. And this is a very good example of everything I just read in one book. Because you saw how Piggy was living in the present, Elephant was not. Elephant was impatient and trying to not act impatiently about the entire situation. And then Piggy was showing empathy at the very end, being like, hey, I have a solution for you. Did it work out for Piggy? Probably not. But I think this is one of the, that's why I love Mel Willems so much, because it relates to adults as well, because I will sit there and read all the Mel Willems books because I have been in scenarios where I am Elephant. And it's just like things are happening. I'm like, I don't want, this is not what I want. This is not, I need help. And so I'll have a friend or a family member be like, but this is great for you. I'm like, no, it is not. Don't like this. And then we'll find a compromise, we'll find a solution, which may or may not benefit them or myself, but we'll still work together and find a way. And there's the one of my other favorites is I Am Sad, and Elephant is just really sad. And Piggy wants to help Elephant feel better, but doesn't really know how. Eventually they get there, but it's just like trying to be there for someone who's trying to, again, and a lot of Mo Willems is definitely being in the present and really working through emotions and learning how, for me especially, learning how to like really relearn those skills and those feelings and those emotions. So I really, really highly encourage reading Mo Willems and the I Am series. But yeah, those are all of the books I'm willing to read. Or I have a bit of PTSD from daycare where my kids will literally make me sit and read our entire library collection. So I'm forcing myself to stop at 4. I could read all of them. I'm stopping at 4. Thank you. Oh! I think the books are tired too.
Sorry for being late.
Oh no, you're so good.
I think there's a parade and lots of parking struggles. And
Thank you so much, everyone, for checking out this Tap Talk. We really appreciate it. That was phenomenal. Thank you so much. Really enjoyed all those stories.
Thank you.
Super valuable lessons.
Oh, I love them.
And you also read that Piggy and Gerald is actually one of my favorite all-time books too. So I just love the expressions and the way they interact, and yeah, so definitely. So thank you again, and
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, definitely. And for those of you watching, please come to the city council meetings. Come have your voice and share what you think and what you feel and what you want, nicely, patiently, with respect for the knowing that these are our city council members.
I promise we're doing our best.
Absolutely, it's hard to make right. You can't please everyone all the time,
No,
right?
not
But
at all.
to try to do the best, because we are in a community together, and the only way to make it better is if all of us work together. So thanks again. Thanks to Common Fields for hosting
Yes,
Tap
thank
Talks
you.
and 500 Women Scientists Corvallis. Starting next year, we are going to move to the first Thursday of the month instead of the first Monday of the month. We are going to take a break for January, and then in February we are going to have Kira Mudd, who is a teacher at Crescent Valley, and she is going to host a creative writing workshop. That should be absolutely phenomenal.
I'm definitely
So,
gonna be there.
right?
I'm definitely
And
gonna
now, yay, we do have the ability, as you can tell, to live stream and post these talks. So definitely check out our YouTube site, and we hope to see you in February. Well, take care.
Yay.
Happy New Year.